Hello and welcome back to the Superdoc Insights, where we dive deep into the journey of becoming a Superdoc, not just in terms of skill and knowledge, but in optimizing all aspects of our lives. I'm your host, Dr. Krishna Bharat, and today we are going to talk about one of the most powerful concepts I have come to realize in my career: knowing the machine. Now, in the ICU, we work with some of the most sophisticated equipments. We rely on machines like ventilators, ultrasound machines, dialysis machines, CRRT machines, each one with its own functions, its own uses, and its own set of complexities. But here's the thing: you can't use a machine to its full potential if you don't know it. Understanding the functions, the modes, the capabilities, that's the foundation of effective patient care. And yet, isn't it funny how we never apply this same principle to ourselves? We as human beings are one of the most sophisticated machinery that is there around. But how well do we know ourselves? How well do we understand our own modes, our alarms, our feedback systems? Today, that's what we are going to explore. That is, how mastering the machine, whether in the ICU or our lives, is the key to accelerating performance and growth. I want to start by asking you a question. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you had to use a machine you didn't fully understand? Maybe it was a new piece of technology, a medical device, or even as simple as something like a new generation phone. What was your first reaction? For many of us, it's resistance. Why? Because we are stepping into the unknown. I felt this during my early days in my internal medicine residency, working with ventilators. We would connect patients to ventilators and just follow textbook instructions. Set the tidal volume at 6 to 8 ml per kg, respiratory rate at 15, FiO2 at 60, and so on and so on. And that's it. I never really knew what was happening beyond those settings. The alarms would go off, and I would feel this deep sense of helplessness because I didn't understand what the machine was telling me. I wasn't aware of the feedback the ventilator was giving, and it made me dependent on others to bail me out. It wasn't until I entered critical care that I had to face this resistance head on. I knew that if I didn't learn the ventilator inside and out, I couldn't provide the care my patients needed. So I started diving deep into it, learning the modes, understanding when to use each one, how to set alarms properly, how to troubleshoot issues when they come up. The more I learned, the more confident I became in my ability to handle these critical situations. But let me ask you this: where in your life do you feel that same resistance? What is the machine you have been avoiding because you feel like it's too much to take on? Learning about the ventilators was a turning point in my career. Knowing the machine gave me the ability to optimize care, to personalize treatments for each patient, and most importantly, to troubleshoot problems when they occurred. For instance, I learned that certain modes like pressure control ventilations were dangerous for patients with dynamic airway diseases like asthma and COPD. On the other hand, it was highly effective for patients with ARDS. It's not just about understanding the settings, It's about knowing when to apply them. And this goes beyond ventilators. In the ICU, machines like the ultrasound devices, dialysis machines, and the monitors are all essential tools. But unless you know the machine, you can't use it effectively. You might be missing out on critical feedback or missing the chance to intervene before things go wrong. This is where I want you to reflect. What's the machine in your life that you need to understand better? Maybe it's a tool or a process at work. Maybe it's a personal habit or a skill that you have been avoiding. How might understanding this machine help you optimize your performance? Now, here's where things get really interesting. I started to realize that just as I needed to know the ventilator to optimize patient care, I needed to know myself to optimize my own performance. We are the most complex, sophisticated machines ever created. Yet, how often do we actually take the time to understand our own knobology? The settings, the modes, the alarms that make us who we are. For me, it started with introspection. I started asking myself, what are my modes? As a doctor, what are the traits I need? Patience, empathy, skill, maybe. As a teacher, I need to be communicative and inspirational as well. As a husband, I need to show love, kindness, and support. Each of these roles requires different settings, just like the ventilator requires different modes for different patients. But it goes deeper. I started to ask myself, what are my alarms? What signals does my body or mind give me when something is wrong? When I'm physically tired, emotionally drained, or mentally exhausted, do I know what my body is telling me? And more importantly, do I know how to respond? Once I became aware of these modes and alarms, I started to optimize. For me, it began with physical health. What made me feel more energetic? I focused on my diet, exercise, and sleep. Then I moved on to mental clarity, meditation, visualization, and being mindful of my thoughts. Finally, I worked on my emotional state, learning to release those negative emotions and foster a sense of gratitude. And what I found was this: just like mastering the ventilator, understanding myself helped me become more efficient, more productive, and more in tune with my purpose. It didn't happen overnight, it was a process, a step by step journey of optimization. But I see the results have been transformative and still ongoing. It's a process, as I told you. And here's where I want to leave you today. What area of your life needs optimizing? What mode are you in right now that might not be working for you? What are your alarms telling you? Take some time to reflect on these questions, because the more you understand your own machine, the more you can fine tune it for success. Just like with any machine in the ICU, mastery doesn't come without effort. It takes time, deliberate practice, and a willingness to learn. But the rewards are immense. Knowing your machine, whether it's a ventilator, an ultrasound, or yourself, is the key to optimizing performance, improving outcomes, and achieving the success you are aiming for. So, today I challenge you to start the process. Start learning the knobology of your own life. Understand your settings, your modes, your alarms. And little by little, step by step, you will start to see the transformation in you. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Superdoc Insights. If you found this helpful, please share it with your colleagues, friends, and family. Let's keep pushing ourselves to become the best version of who we are. Until the next time, stay balanced, stay grounded, and keep mastering the machine.